Hello, Lobo fans. Welcome into another edition of your Lobo Coaches Show. I'm your host, Robert Portnoy, with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. Coach G, great to be back with you. And after this loss to Fresno State, I'll tell you, I look at the final score, and of the most recent losses, I think this one is the least indicative of how competitive this game was. Did you feel that way?
It definitely was for the first half. I thought the early possession, we get a first down and then have to punt the ball away. And then on defense, we give up a 75-yarder that I thought broke the spirit of our team. And the line of scrimmage from that point on kind of changed. And that's all part of this building process. There's ups and downs in every single game, and you just have to be able to shake those off. And we have a really hard time doing that right now.
Two of the key early plays when the Lobos had chances to get touchdowns. You have a 2nd and 1 at the 9, and you have a 1st and goal just outside the 2, and you're forced to settle for field goals. And I thought the first down plays were key in both of those scenarios.
They were. The first down on the first one, we missed the option key and pitched the ball, and we got tackled for a 6-yard loss. On the second one, we tried the fly sweep because we thought we had them outnumbered. Their corner did a really nice job, got off a block and got to Christian. And then the second one, Justin made a bad read on with Jaden Holby right there. And if he hands that ball, it might be a touchdown. But that guy's charging him full speed, and those are game experience decisions. And when it's happening in live bullets, sometimes you make a mistake, and he did, and he'll get better. He'll get better as we continue down the next 4 weeks.
And those are growing pains, right?
They are.
You have a young, talented quarterback that's in his first year of Division I football, and you have to see what you have.
He did, and he made a great play later on after Luke Weissong's punt return, a 2nd and 16. He gets the ball down to the 3-yard line to set that series up. We're not down on the 3-yard line if Justin doesn't do the things that he does early in the series. So there are things that we'll continue to get better on each week.
Fresno State's offense did drive the ball a bit in the first half, but your defense, though it didn't get off the field early, it did late and forced them to a couple of field goals.
We did some things on defense that I'm going to take the blame for. We tried to do some things schematically that our guys, it might have confused them a little bit. It slowed us down, definitely. We went back to our base group of 3 down linemen and 3 linebackers and played a lot better for the rest of the first half.
A 4-man front was something the Lobos had practiced a bit leading up to the game, so it didn't work out the way that you had anticipated.
I thought the substitution pattern that we were going with, some of the calls, getting lined up in enough time. And the problem is if they're thinking how to get lined up, they're not playing fast. And our big deal is if we're going to be fast and aggressive, they have to know what to do. And so when we went back to the base group, when we got a 3 and out, we kept them out of the end zone. We just played better.
The Lobo fans are looking for something that tells you that this is on the right track despite the recent results. I'll tell you, I watched a football game on Sunday, and hearing an analyst talk about the way the defense was playing, it sounded like exactly the way you talk. And he said that particular NFL team's defensive philosophy was that first guy just flies through that ball carrier, that receiver, whoever it is, get a piece of him, and then the cavalry comes. That's how you coach it, isn't it?
Oh, it is. We don't break down. We take as many shots as we can. And as you watch early on in the game, as the Fresno receivers were catching the ball, they weren't catching it looking to get upfield. They were catching it looking to get away from contact. And if we've got them like that, then we have a better chance for success. And that comes with the attitude of not breaking down. Go take your shot, see what happens. And then from there, the turnovers start happening. The ball starts falling on the ground. We get it. We had opportunities at numerous turnovers. We only got 1, but we had multiple opportunities that we just need to cash in on.
After a couple of games where the Lobos didn't have a takeaway, they do get the pick from A.J. Halsey. What a game he played, Coach.
He did. He played very well. He's an outstanding true freshman. We started 4 true freshmen in the secondary, which I've never been a part of. Now, I've been a part of a team that started 5 true freshmen on defense, but never in the secondary altogether. And they played pretty good for the most part. 2-3 years down the road, that's going to be a dangerous secondary. And if we can get some pass rushers, we could be really, really good.
All right, time for us to take our first time out. When we come back, first half highlights of the Lobos in Fresno State at University Stadium. We're back on your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at New Mexico, Danny Gonzales. The Lobos hosted Fresno State on homecoming at University Stadium. Let's get to the first half highlights.
What a beautiful afternoon it was for football. This is the first time all season that we've started out on defense. We had an opportunity on 3rd down right there. There's Bryson Taylor, who got a little bit of a late read. Later in the game, he's going to make that play for an incomplete pass, almost have a chance to intercept it. There's Jamarius Lewis. You can't break down at this level. If you break down, the athletes are too good. They'll make you miss. We were able to get off the field with some pressure on 3rd down right here and hold them to a field goal on their first series.
It did seem that early on there were a couple of initial opportunities at tackles that their outside guys were able to break.
They were, and it's a combination of breaking down and experience. Christian Washington, though, did a great job and give the other 10 guys a great applaud for taking care of their responsibility and getting blocks. We had one guy who, that's an unaccounted guy for it, that's their safety, had an angle on Christian. But we get down there at the 30-yard line, I'm like, you can't ask for a better field position.
A fantastic day for special teams, both in punt return and kick return. And here's Justin Holiday, his first career start at the FBS D1 level. How did he play, Coach?
You know, there was some hit and miss. He did some good things, did some things that can be improved upon. That one right there, he throws it 2 steps sooner. Luke's going to have a chance to go one-on-one down there at the goal line. And then right here, a ball he should have handed off. He decided to pull it and pitch, and they had outnumbered us on that side. And then we end up with a field goal attempt on that series.
And speaking of those highlights for special teams, another 3-for-3 day in place kicks for Luke Drizwicki.
You know, he did a nice job. He's got a little bit of that confidence that we need, and as we play the next 4 games down the road, I hope that guy's going to become really important.
So you got Fresno State off the field, their first possession with 3 points. These early drives for the Dogs, not any big plays. They're just kind of incrementally moving down the field.
No, we gave up a couple of 3rd and 7 pluses that we hadn't done all year, and they were able to sustain drives. We thought we had them short right here. They got down into a goal situation, and they were able to. That one, I didn't agree with that totally on tape. I saw it out there what they were calling, but his hand was on his hip. It wasn't good. And then right there, the quarterback, we got to squeeze and square and squeeze the quarterback so that he doesn't keep it, and we make him hand it off to get him in a field goal position.
Justin Holiday did some really nice things early in the run game from the quarterback position.
He did. A couple early throws. He was a little bit off target right here. A little bad snap, which kind of screwed up the passing concept. I thought Aaron did a fantastic job on the night, and our coverage guys were great. We had a really good, both the special team aspects of it on all 4 phases did a really nice job, and I thought we had the advantage in that side of the ball.
Aaron Rodriguez, a Ray Guy Award for the Weekly Award nominee for 51+ yards per punt in this game.
You know, and Remigio was a really dangerous. And there he is right there, Jarek Reed on the nice coverage on the hitch route. He was really dangerous coming into this, so our guys took up to the challenge. Here's a nice play by Jarek Reed. Didn't know where the ball was, but he can become the receiver and go get the ball. He cut the receiver off, and he plays the ball. They don't call pass interference.
We saw Cody Moon nearly go upside down. They were cutting our guys on the outside as they were rushing the pass.
They were, and that's not as many people are doing it because of the rule change, but it's still legal. And they did a nice job. There was a great play right there by Cody Moon scraping across and getting an assist right there and keeping him from getting the first down. They did it. This was a really nice job by Luke, and this is the first team defense out there. There's 3 blocks. There's one right there by Jarek Reed, one by Cody Moon, and one by Deion Hunter. That 5 years ago, those guys would have probably been put on the back of their head. And they did a great job of executing just the screen by so that Luke could get upfield and you don't get a blindside block call. We got great field position started, converted on a 4th down right there with the bone. And then what a great move right here on 2nd and 16 by Justin Holiday. Gets him in the free safety one-on-one. He steps out at the 3. I thought he was in the end zone, but he stepped out at the 3. We got to put the ball in the goal.
A couple of times he stuck his foot in the ground, Holiday did, and turned it upfield. On the first possession, he does it here again. And he's got some speed, Coach.
He's got some speed. He's got a little bit of wiggle to him. If he could have kept that right foot in bounds right there, we're celebrating the touchdown. The band's playing, but they did a nice job. There's the corner. It came up. He saw Christian Washington, made a nice stop. And then right there with the corner charging, that's a tough read with live bullets. If he hands that ball, there's a chance Jaden's going to get in the end zone. And then we've got Christian Washington up top open, not Justin's read. We were trying to hide the tight end. You know, teams do a really good job on doing their scout work, and they've seen us get a little bit of success with that over the last 2 years. They were ready for it. We got to be able to convert earlier so we don't get in those positions.
So the Lobos get another field goal from Luke Drizwicki, and this guy's just a good football player, Jalen Cropper.
You know, converting a 3rd and 10 when we drop 8, that's an experience issue right there, because we had 4 guys out there, the true freshmen. They take on blocks wrong, which allow them to get the 10 yards to the first down. They got lucky right there with the lineman, but he was able to get some positive yards. And then we get elevated to the quarterback. I mean, those penalties are going to happen occasionally. You just can't have too many of them.
What about the play of their quarterback in this game? He's obviously their backup, but he continues to get better, Logan Fife.
Oh, he does. You know, I said it. UConn, he was not very good. Boise, he was better. San Jose State, he was better. And he was even better against us on Saturday night. So they're building some depth right there, because if they ever get Jay Kaner back, who's a great player, and he was on the sideline, just not dressed out, they've got another option to go with.
And again, you guys get off the field, force the field goal attempt, 13-6. I know you felt like you guys could have 14 points at halftime.
We could have. If we would have converted on the first down where we pitched the ball and we get a 6-yard loss, we put that one in. That's going to be a 7-3 lead. After we held them after they scored the touchdown on the next one, we get the great punt return by Luke, and we get Justin all the way down to the 3-yard line. If we convert on that one, now it's 14-10. And they might kick the field goal to make it 14-13 if we don't get off the field, but the momentum is going to be a little bit different. Now, is it going to change the second half dramatically? Don't know. But we got to continue to complete those to make that opportunity.
Fresno State had the ball for over 40 plays offensively in the first half. Did that concern you at all going into the break?
That was more on the defense than the offense, because I thought our offense did a nice job. We only had 22 plays, but we moved the ball the 5 possessions that we had. We did have one series where we threw it 3 times and didn't get anything. But the other ones, we were able to get some first downs, move the ball, get in scoring position. We walked away with field goals. Now, we did not do a good job on third down, especially in the first half on defense, to give our offense the opportunity to have possession. So not concerning, but with a game being as competitive as it was, we've got to make more of those plays to give a chance to build a lead if we can put the ball in the end zone.
With Justin Holiday, the sophomore transfer from Fresno City College, making his first start, did you feel the balance between pass and run in the first half was kind of what you expected?
I would say so. Now, when you go balance, pass, and run, it's not necessarily we're going to throw it 5 times, we're going to run it 5 times. It's more based on yardage. However many yards we get rushing, we want to match that and have that many yards passing. And that's more of the balanced offense we're looking for. We ran the ball pretty successful, especially between the tackles, and then our option plays hit. Of the 8 option plays we ran, only one of them was a negative play, but it turned into a 6-yard loss. So we've got to continue to get those better to give us a chance.
Okay, Lobos down 13-6 at the break. Second half highlights next. Hello again on your Lobo Coaches Show with head football coach at New Mexico, Danny Gonzales. It's time to look at second half highlights. The Lobos trailing Fresno State 13-6 as we start the third quarter.
You know, we made a couple of adjustments at halftime. In the very first play we come out, we gouged them for about 13 yards. Okay, here we go. We're going to run the ball down and see what we can get done. We missed a run through right there. We didn't come off at the center guard exchange and be able to get the running back to the next level. And then we weren't able to convert, so we're going to have to punt the ball back to them. We punted it, they got a touchback, their 25-yard line, and then the very first play of the series, we have a miscommunication in the secondary, and it looks like Zach Morris's fault. It's not his fault, the way the coverage. He just saw a guy running free and decided to take off after him, but Cropper's too good to let run free. Right there, that was a big third down. If we get that ball pitched to Nate Jones, there's nobody outside. It's going to be him, and we've got 2 blockers for the 2 guys that they got. But once again, live bullets. Justin will get better and better at that. I thought our punt team did a great job. I mean, a couple of those kicks that Aaron hit were 58-plus yards, and you give him so much room that it becomes hard to get tackles. I thought our coverage team did a great job.
Especially as dangerous as Remigio is. He has a punt return already this year, and he had one when he was at Cal.
There's another true freshman coming off the edge. He doesn't square and squeeze. The quarterback should hand that ball off the way the safety's taught to play it, with experience. And experience right here on this. If Justin just knocks the ball down to the ground, it's going to be 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 20, whatever it was. Nice catch right there. Got a little bit of positive yards to get. We didn't want to hand the ball off and get backed up again and punt out of the end zone, so it gave us a little breathing room. But we got to be able to get off the field. It was a nice job by Jake Saltonstall. A.J. Halsey comes up with the interception. The guys are doing a great job blocking again. I don't know if we're going to see the end zone angle of this, but Bryson Taylor takes on a 6'7", 320-pound guard right here. Watch 13 come at the very end. That's our small corner out there, 6'2", 170 pounds, taking on a 300-pounder, leading the way right there. Look who goes down on the ground now. They both do. I mean, that's a great job by Bryson. So we got guys trying to fend for each other. We've got to put this ball in the end zone. A very positive first down play. We get 7 yards. And then right here, once again, we missed the block up front. We get tackled, and now we're in a 3rd and long situation down by the goal line.
3rd and long is not where the Lobos want to be, but Holiday has plenty of time. He just can't find anybody open downfield.
He did. Our running back, we were supposed to leak him out in the flat. He ran into the blitzer, which kind of screwed up the timing on that. So Justin found the next relief out, which wasn't a part of the progression early, and they were able to hold us to a field goal. So it's 27-9 instead of 27-13 with some momentum. I thought our kickoff team did a really nice job. Our special teams across the board, they played all 4 phases. After the long touchdown, though, I thought the biggest disappointment of the night was the line of scrimmage. They were able to push us off the ball and get some positive yards running the ball, like this, for instance, right there, and there's another tackle by A.J. Halsey. The offensive line did the same thing. So I thought, they took some of our spirit after that long touchdown run, which is one of those things we're trying to develop around here. There's going to be positives and negatives in every game. You got to shake them off.
Well, you mentioned in the post game, 24 tackles for Halsey, and you're like, well, that's our safety. Maybe shouldn't have that high a number, but you watched the tape, and a lot of them were close to the line of scrimmage?
14 of them were within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, 2 to 2.5 yards, which those tackles we're going to win with. When your free safety Lobo back that we use is 24 tackles and they're all 8 and 9 yard gains, you got no chance. So he played better than I thought from just reading the stats. He's going to be a special player around here. We got to find a way to continue to develop him so that as he gets better and better each year, we can keep him around.
I'll tell you one thing I noticed, and this is just impressive. Aaron Rodriguez, your punter, punting into the wind, lower trajectory, punting downwind, higher trajectory. He can do it all.
He can. And he did it on Saturday night, which was a big time positive because there's been times last week against New Mexico State we struggled punting into the wind. And he was able to work on some things during the week, and it paid dividends for Saturday night because I thought he did a nice job. There's a nice catch by Deuce Jones. We got to find some more ways to get Deuce the ball. He did a great job blocking on the perimeter, and right there he shows he's got some hands that he can make a move once he gets the ball in his hands.
A DB converted to receiver, and he's got speed.
He does. He's one of those guys that we believe can take it over the top. We just have to be able to press the ball in the run game to be able to give Deuce some of those opportunities.
So there you are with Jeff Tedford post-game, and I know the 510 yards, that number for total yardage for Fresno State is not what you like, and probably in particular their rushing total when it was all said and done. A lot of it accumulated in the second half.
The majority of it did. I mean, they had 200 yards of offense at halftime, which is way too much for our liking. I mean, we're in the process of trying to hold people between 200 and 300 yards for a game, and they were able to move the ball. Third down is the most important stat next to scoring, and they were able to convert more than we were. We can't give up 500 yards and win a game. And people can say, well, your offense isn't giving your defense any time to rest. We're built to not have rest. So we can't give in. We can't give in when something happens bad. We got to be able to play through those opportunities.
You mentioned how important it is for third down for the defense to get off the field. This is the first time all season the opposition had converted a third down of 10 yards or more.
It happened twice. Well, they did it once to 3rd and 7 and once to 3rd and 10. Those are things that we take great pride in. We can pin our ears back and go get the quarterback. We had some things that we were able to do with them. We dropped 8 one time, and we had a couple guys run inside of blocks as opposed to just holding their own. That comes with experience. That's part of the 4 true freshmen being out there. You have to live with some of those growing pains, but unfortunately those growing pains, they hurt, and they'll be better for it, but that's what we're going through right now.
Concerning the last 3 games that while still pressuring the quarterback, you haven't gotten him on the ground the way that you'd like to?
I think Logan Fife did a great job of getting the ball out of his hands. We didn't have many opportunities. We didn't fall off any tackles like we did the previous week. So I think it's a little bit different. They did a nice job of recognizing our blitzes and him getting the ball out, but we had some DBs make plays at the same time. We've got to be able to get to the quarterback, get him on the ground, and if he wants to throw it up like that, we have to do what A.J. Halsey did.
Briefly, before we get to break, you did mention some halftime adjustments offensively. How did they look overall? I
thought we had some progress in the third quarter. We just didn't convert them into points. And if we can continue down that path and get better each week, results are the only thing that matter. We've got to score touchdowns. 11 quarters without a touchdown is ridiculous. And we've had opportunities. We've knocked on the door in both the last 2 games, but we either make mistakes or we get knocked back, and we can't do that.
All right. We come back after the timeout. We wrap up the loss to Fresno State. We look ahead. The Lobos have a bye week. They need it, trying to get healthy. That's next. We're back to wrap up another Lobo Coaches Show. I'm Robert Portnoy with head football coach at UNM, Danny Gonzales. So, Coach G, a loss 41-9 to Fresno State at University Stadium. And now, as dinged up as you are, you go into a bye week. Wouldn't have been bad if it had come even sooner, but because of the number of injuries that have mounted up, this is pretty good timing.
Oh, it's couldn't be any better. I mean, we've got some guys that are out for the season: Datavian Combs, DJ Wingfield, Alec Marenko, which really hurts. I mean, 3 ACLs. I mean, that has just crushed our depth. Not having Ray Luatelli the last couple of weeks, not having Issei the last couple of weeks, not having CJ, that really hurt our depth on the offensive line and at linebacker. And so we've lost some of our best players, which really hurts your football team when you're young. You're trying to build, and then you're having to replace those guys with guys that haven't played, period. So we've got a bunch of young guys that are very valuable that are hurt. Hopefully we'll get some of them back, and that'll definitely help against Utah State.
So CJ James and Issei Matautia, that's up front, a center and a guard, could be back. You also mentioned at the linebacker position, Ray Luatelli, Mike linebacker, could be back. Also, your best corner, Dante Martin, could return from the collapsed lung? That's the plan. I mean, he's been doing his rehab and conditioning, so we expect him to be able to play. So what about what you'd like to accomplish on the practice field with these 2 weeks leading into the game in Logan, Utah against Utah State?
This week will be more about getting better at football, just fundamentals. We'll have some more individual time that we don't get as much of. We'll do some one-on-ones. It'll be like a fall camp practice. We're going to go against each other. We're going to go good on good. And then the very end of practice, we're going to let the young guys scrimmage a little bit, play some real football. I mean, the guys that don't get to play in the games, they work their tails off on the scout team all year, and they do it to be able to play real football, tackle somebody, hit somebody. So we'll finish the practice with 20 minutes of scrimmage and let those guys play a little bit of football.
There are a lot of late season and even postseason high school and junior college games going on all over the country. And at the end of this week, you guys are going to get out and recruit?
Thursday morning, Coach is going to be leaving about 10 o'clock to get out here and catch some planes. Go find some talent. We need to find some more Lobos. We need to find some receivers, obviously, that we can get some guys open. We need to find some D linemen that can rush the passer. And then we just need to replace guys that will graduate and move on from our program with players and hopefully better.
You mentioned receivers on the injury front. Could Jordan Porter be back full strength with 2 weeks? We know he played but didn't play much in the last game.
We'll have an opportunity to really get him healthy with both treatment and giving him some little rest so we can get some weight off of that foot, and hopefully he'll be ready to go full speed by Utah State.
Well, and it'll be probably cold. It's November. It's going to be a great one for the Lobos.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I mean, it snowed this week. Right now, the extended forecast is 46 and sunny. So let's see what happens. We got 2 weeks to see.
All right, Coach G, we can't wait. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
For Frank Mercogliano and Chase Christensen and head football coach Danny Gonzales, I'm Robert Portman. So long, everybody, and go Lobos.